Hello guys, it's Ryan Ho back with another video. Today I want to talk about the Moondrop Blessing 3 and why I think this is an absolute upgrade over the Blessing 2. Now, the Blessing 3 is honestly in all ways better than the 2. The thing that I noticed the most is one, they actually have two bass drivers now and four BA drivers versus the original only had one dynamic driver. Now they definitely made some big improvements there because it sounds a lot more punchier, a lot more physical. Like if you're watching, I keep using this lately, but if you go to a movie theater and you're watching like Star Wars and they're like swinging their lightsabers, you can like hear that like motion of them swinging and you can feel the bass, right? And this one has a lot more of that than the Moondrop Blessing 2. The other thing I noticed is the treble and the tuning overall is improved. I found the original to be slightly shouty and sharp. This one doesn't get that way at all, so the tuning is especially improved. The other thing I noticed about this is also the imaging is also improved as well, and the whole entire soundstage experience is less, I guess, tubular. Like the original sounded like there's like tubes right here and it isn't really like around you. So this one definitely sounds more like you're enveloped in the music a little bit more. So this is what I also like about it. I think overall it is a pretty significant improvement over the original. Now, I'll also talk about this in comparison to the Moondrop variations. This is my favorite IM by Moondrop so far that I've tried. And I think, this will be a pretty cool comparison because this one's kind of next price point up to see if it's worth it compared to the Moondrop Blessing 3. But overall, this thing is really, really well executed, well tuned, and it kind of achieves its kind of tuning, right? I think the Moondrop Blessing 3 is always the neutrally tuned IEM. That's kind of what I was going for, and I think it did succeed in that, and it kind of enhanced a certain area as well. Anyways, let's get into the details. So let's unbox the Moondrop Blessing 3. So we got our next anime waifu with pink hair. Honestly, it's pretty cool. You can see her wearing the Blessing 3. I think people who are Moondrop art enjoyers will definitely appreciate this. You can see the frequency response on here. You can see it definitely has a little bit of a bass boost down here, and it's pretty target adherent. So we're gonna see what it sounds like and all the improvements they have made. All right, boom. That's pretty cool opening experience. We have the Blessing 3. Then we have this cool kind of white box that kind of fits the, I guess, theme of this white case and everything. And then inside we see the cables nicely placed, the airplane adapter. Then we got a variety of tips in here. All right, so I want to thank APOS Audio for sending out the Moondrop Blessing 3 and the variations to do this comparison. I think you guys should buy from APOS because they have a 2-year warranty versus a 1-year warranty. I'll have links below that if you buy as an affiliate link and also part of my channel. And yeah. All right, so let's take a look at the physical aspects of the Moondrop Blessing 3. So it has this nice shell that's honestly reminds me a lot of the Kato. It's just this nice shiny finish that kind of reflects. Pretty basic finish. It has this medical grade resin that fits really well into the ear. I do think this IM is a little bit bigger side, at least on the tip fit. So you'll definitely feel that it's a little bigger than most. However, I find it relatively comfortable because of this kind of, molded shape. And, I do feel it kind of being a little bigger in my ear, but overall, I don't really have that much of an issue with it. Now, the cable that comes with is, thank God, a lot better than the Kato. So when it comes to this cable, it's very thin, so I really like it. And it's also, of course, kind of twisted as well. And it terminates into the 3.5 millimeter. I think it's a really nice cable. I enjoy it, and kind of fits the overall light white aesthetic that this has. So I think it does a really good job in that aspect. The tips they come with, like I said, they have kind of 6 tips essentially, and they give you extras of each. And yeah, they're just the classic silicone tips that fit in your ear. When you kind of take a closer look, you kind of see through the IM. I feel like that's what the Moondrop Blessing 3 was known for originally, to being able to see through it, and you can do it in this version as well. So when it comes to the sound, the Blessing 3 is really a neutral with, I would say, a sub-bass boost. That's what it sounds like to me. And essentially, you get a sub-bass boosted type of sound signature. The bass is relatively flat for like the mid-bass, and then going to the mids, it's pretty flat as well. Maybe the lower mids are, a little bit like pushed back a little bit, but it's really not that noticeable in my opinion. And then we also have the treble, which, the treble is exactly where you want it. It's very neutral, it's very detailed, you hear everything. And so what this really leads us sounding like is if you listen to a lot of like, pop and EDM, you'll definitely get a lot of that sub bass boost. You might not get as much that mid bass boost. Now, my theory about this is because the Blessing has always been the neutrally tuned one. They have the Dusk version, right, of the Moondrop Blessing 2, which is basically the bass boosted version. Apparently, they're coming out with a Dusk version of this one as well. So if you want more like mid bass, I'm guessing that Dusk version will have more mid bass. Besides that, there's also the Moondrop Kato that is cheaper than this one at 180 that has definitely that mid bass boost, and as well as the Moondrop Variations that is more expensive, but also has that more bassy, more fun mid bass if you're looking for that. But this one is just flat. Now, when it comes to like the mid range and the vocals, that's where I think this one really shines a lot. Compared to the original one, I can definitely tell this one sounds a lot more natural. It's really just a full mid-range, whether it's male or female vocals, they sound really full. Now, I did say like the lower mid-range, which is, in my opinion, a lot of the male vocalist type of things, they do sound just a little bit laid back, but it's not much, honestly, but it's there. Really, that's all I can kind of pick out from this, because besides that, it's tuned really well. Like any person will pick this up and will pretty much enjoy it. Now, if I talk about the kind of other things like soundstage and imaging, right? So I talked about earlier how I thought the original one had soundstage, but it just felt like it didn't extend as high as above my head as this one does. This one sounds just taller in general. And it kind of reminds me of the Variations, because the Variations also does that really, really well, being just this tall soundstage. And this one gets a lot more similar to the Variations. And then when it comes to imaging, I also found it to be fantastic. As always, I played a game of Valorant to kind of check, if the enemy appears in front of me, and if I hear them and I guess that they are appearing in front of me and they actually appear in front of me, I know if it's accurate or not. This one is super, super precise. So when it comes to playing video games and just having accurate imaging, it has really, really good center imaging especially. So I definitely do recommend the Moondrop Blessing 3 for imaging. The other things that we talk about is like detail, like how well does that sound. It definitely does sound better than the Moondrop Kato. The thing that I find the most amazing about this one for sure is the bass. I feel like a lot of cheaper IEMs don't do bass. It's the controlled aspect as well as having that deep sub bass definition, but the bass doesn't seem to like muddy up the rest of the frequency. It just seems like it plays independent of the rest. It's just very detailed, but also that kind of physical dynamic feeling that I think it really excels at. And I think it makes the bass sound a lot more natural to me than, cheaper IEMs that I don't really get that feeling that much. And of course, the Moondrop Variation does that to even a greater degree. Like I would say a subwoofer sounds more like a subwoofer on the Variations. The other thing is the amount of like treble and mid-range detail is really, really good. Like it has the BA drivers that are able to kind of deliver that. I would say this is definitely a step up over the Kato. It definitely doesn't reach the level of the Variations. I've noticed that, especially in the treble region, the Variations is better. I mean, it is more expensive at $500 or $540. So it is over $200 more expensive, and it definitely shows its strength in both having more treble resolution and bass resolution, in my opinion. But the Blessing does really, really well in that regard too, especially compared to other stuff around or below its price point. And really, if I wrapped it up, I definitely recommend the Blessing 3. If you're looking for just a neutral type of profile with a little bit of a sub bass boost, this is definitely what you're looking for. It is really well tuned. Like most people can definitely enjoy this, unless you're really a bass head and you want more bass. Then, like I said, you probably go with the Variations or the Kato or the Dust version of this one that is coming out. And yeah, that's about it. This is a great IEM. It's definitely going to be very popular amongst everybody, especially when the original Blessing 2 was so popular. I think this one is just going to be even more popular with all its refinements that it had. Like, it's quite interesting if you look at all the notes of all the stuff they improved, of how they kind of layered the kind of two bass drivers together. At least sonically, I can tell the difference and the improvements overall, and it's definitely really, really good. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe down below. Helps my videos out. And check out my next videos or my prior videos. I definitely reviewed the Blessing 2, my variations video, the Kato, the Aria. I've basically done like almost all the Moondrop stuff under like 500. So you guys definitely want to check that out. Anyways, till next time.